welcome everyone. And we are happy to have Simone Bullinger with ANEW here today. And this is part of our Professionals by Pathway Career Exploration event, where we are trying to connect students with different career opportunities and ways to pursue their high school and beyond plans. I'm Pablo, I'm the CT director here in Yelm, and we are excited to continue this series with Simone today. Just before we get started though, just want to remind everyone this is being recorded so future students can access the same information. And we have about 30 minutes to learn about this program and how it can benefit our students. And lastly, if there are any questions from students, please feel free to put them in the Q&A and we will address those. So let's get started. Simone, tell us a little bit about what ANEW is and how you help students get connected, and especially focused on women and people of color getting into the trades.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I am having some technical difficulties with my camera this morning, so you guys won't be able to see me, but I will be sharing a PowerPoint presentation here shortly. Terry, thank you for the introduction. So my name is Simone Bullinger. I am the outreach specialist at ANEW. So ANEW stands for Alternative and Non-Traditional Employment for Women. As I will talk about a little bit in my presentation, ANEW was founded in 1980, and the original mission that we still support today is to place women, people of color, gender diverse folks, as well as any and everyone else into the construction trade apprenticeship. We really want to help change the culture of that, make it more diverse, and represent underrepresented populations. So ANEW, again, has been serving our community since 1980, and we run continuously running pre-apprenticeship programs. So I am going to break down for you guys in my presentation what that looks like. And is it okay if I share my screen now, Terry?
Absolutely.
All righty, let me find my PowerPoint here. And there it is. Okie dokie. So, all right, here we go. So, as I mentioned, founded in 1980, diversifying the trades is what we like to focus on. So we'll typically graduate about 150 to 200 students per year. We hold training programs for women and those who identify as, or we have all gender classes as well. And currently we are expanding our reach, not just from Seattle and South King County, but into like Snohomish, Thurston County, and Pierce County as well. So we're hoping to be able to serve even more people this year. So for those of you who aren't really familiar with the difference between a pre-apprenticeship and an apprenticeship, I'm just going to take a quick minute to go over that. So a pre-apprenticeship is what ANEW offers. That is going to be a free, so it's at no cost to you, short-term, unpaid training. So you won't be getting paid by ANEW while you're taking the training. But it'll give you knowledge about all of the construction trade, different certifications that you'll need to enter into the field, and then experience in the areas that you would need in order to become a successful apprentice. So the goal of our pre-apprenticeship program is to get you placed into a paid apprenticeship that's going to start you at about $20 to $30 an hour by the end of the 11-week training program. And that 11-week program is going to be 3 days a week, and I'll go over that more a little bit later. So an apprenticeship is a paid job. We call it earn while you learn. So anyone who is 17 or turning 18 in the near future can apply to become an apprentice in any of the trades. And your experience going through a pre-apprenticeship program would really just kind of set you apart and increase the likelihood of you landing a job in the trades over another applicant. So apprenticeships are typically going to be looking for folks who have a combination of hands-on skills, different certifications, and then kind of general knowledge about construction. And they'll last anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on which trade you choose to go into. So you'll see some of the trades listed here. And keep in mind that you are always going to be getting paid while you are being trained to do that trade, which is amazing. And there's no college debt. It's at no cost to you. Again, so this slide is showing all of the starting wages of apprentices in the city of Seattle. Keep in mind, this is what you'll start making your very first day on the job. And then your wages will continue to go up from there. You'll be paid weekly rather than bi-weekly like most jobs. And then you will also receive raises about every 6 months, even during your apprenticeship and then into your future. And again, no college debt. So it's nice to, you can't really beat that. And if you like working with your hands, if you're a kinesthetic learner, this could be a really good option for you moving forward once you graduate. So what do you become after you complete your hours as an apprentice? This slide is just showing the progression of someone that's kind of starting out and moving up through a career in construction. Pre-apprenticeship, which is what you would participate with ANEW, is just the first step in a really wide range of career choices that you're going to have. So apprenticeship, again, is going to be on average about 4 years, 2 to 5 years, depending on the trade. And once you complete that apprenticeship, you're going to do what we call journeying out. And once you become a journey level craftsperson, you're going to be earning, give or take, $40 an hour or more. You'll have about $15 to $20 an hour benefits package on top of that. That includes your retirement, that includes your health insurance. And again, this is at no cost to you. So within being in this field for 2 to 5 years, you could be making $40 an hour. And then from there, there's a lot of room for upward mobility and career advancement. So we have folks who have graduated from ANEW who have become foremen, superintendents. We've got folks who own their own businesses now. There's administrative tasks that you can participate in. So there really is a lot of room for upward mobility and career advancement within this field. And this just kind of maps out our continuously running 11-week programs that we're always enrolling for throughout the year. So we have TRP, which is our trades rotation program. That program is going to be for women and those who identify as. And then PACE, our pre-apprenticeship construction education program, is going to be for all genders. There's no difference between those two curriculums. Each of them will be 11 weeks long, with your 12th week being your graduation. It's going to be 3 days a week for TRP, Monday through Wednesday, and 3 days a week, Wednesday through Friday for PACE. Class hours will always be 6:30 to 3 p.m. And again, there's no previous training required. We will be helping you out with all of that. This is just kind of showing where our locations are. This map does not have our Thurston County and Pierce County locations on them just yet, but it just kind of gives folks an idea for where we are in South Seattle. And now I'll go over a little bit about what to expect during our pre-apprenticeship training programs. So again, the start time is always going to be promptly 6:30 a.m. Punctuality is a very important part of the culture of the trades. And so we really just like to emphasize that. Come in about 15 to 30 minutes early to get ready for your day, just like you would at a job. And then we're going to be emphasizing fitness and nutrition. We're going to focus on physical fitness because it's a really important part of working in construction. And our program is going to help you to build physical, mental, and emotional strength. You don't have to come into our program being in the best shape of your life. You're going to receive training from us. We just ask that in order to participate in our tryouts, that you be able to lift a minimum of 40 pounds. And so some of the type of workouts that we'll do to kind of get you ready for working on a job site would be like lifting cinder blocks or shoveling gravel, pushing a wheelbarrow with sandbags in it, things of that nature. We're going to be working with local food banks. They donate healthy snacks to our facilities every day so we can help keep you nourished. We ask that you bring a refillable water bottle with you so that you can stay hydrated throughout the day. And then we also will focus on training you in trades math. So we've got math instructors that work with each of our cohorts to kind of help you brush up on your skills. And we'll be bolstering skills that you would use every day on a construction job site. So examples of that might be like learning how to read a tape measure by adding and subtracting simple fractions, or measuring angles when you're cutting wood or sheet metal, things of that nature. And then we focus on professional development as well. You know, we understand that you're going to be getting out into the job force. And if you're coming straight out of high school, we might need a little assistance with developing a resume or doing mock interviews. We want you to get feedback from folks who are already apprentices, who work with unions and things of that nature, so that they can give you some real world feedback on those skills and help you bolster them, so that when you do get out and you're applying for your apprenticeships, that you have a higher likelihood of succeeding. So we will be doing that as well. And then what we expect from folks when they kind of come into the field and start this training. So like I mentioned, punctuality is super important. I know 6:30 a.m. sounds early, but just know that when you're working in the trades, you will be starting your days kind of at the crack of dawn. So we want to help to prepare you for that. And like, it's just like a job, or just like with school. If for whatever reason, you know that you might not be able to make it, or that you might be running late, you just call and let your instructors know. We understand that sometimes when folks are going through this training, they're working another job, or some folks, have family things and kiddos, and, so we do account for that, and we try to be flexible, but we just ask that you treat it like a job, since that's what we're really trying to prepare you for. You'll also be able to bolster your resume by doing some community service hours while you're in the program. We require a total of 8 community service hours in order to graduate from ANEW. And we'll provide you with plenty of opportunities in order to make sure that that happens throughout your 11-week program. And then we ask that folks come in with a positive attitude, show respect to your classmates, to your instructors. Like I mentioned, we are serving very diverse populations. And so we like to celebrate that and make sure that everyone is mentally and emotionally prepared for that, to function with respect and openness when they come into our spaces, shared spaces, excuse me. And then let's see, work towards your own success. What you're going to put into the program is really what you're going to get out of it. You're going to want to show that you can work hard and be diligent when you're out in the field. That's what employers are going to be looking for. And so let's see, we will walk you through the process of applying for apprenticeship, but you're still going to be responsible ultimately for kind of applying for the positions that you want. We've got career coaches, employment specialists who are going to be by your side the entire time and making sure that you're, successfully graduated and placed into the field. There will be a little bit of homework, just about 4 hours a week. It's not too bad. And that's just going to include finishing up any math that doesn't get done while you're in shop, working on your resume, and then applying to the jobs that you so desire. And let's see. Oh, work ethic, also extremely important. Come in prepared with your PPE every day. I assume that some of us might know what that is at this point in the post-pandemic world we're living in. That's personal protective equipment. So ANEW will provide you with a hard hat, a safety vest, safety glasses, and gloves. You're just going to want to remember to bring those with you every day. And if you need assistance with work boots or any type of we understand the clothes you need to work in the construction field are going to be different than probably what all of us have in our closets. So we can help you out with that as well. There's no worries there. So this is a list of requirements that have to be met in order to go through our pre-apprenticeship, and they are as such because they closely match the requirements to get into a paid apprenticeship or job. So there will be a drug test that you'll have to pass when you're applying for all of your apprenticeships. We make sure that we catch that on the front end and have folks do that while they're coming in to our programs as well. We do test for marijuana, even though it's legal in the state of Washington. And so we just would hate for you to work your butt off for 11 weeks in this program and then not be able to get your paid job because you can't pass a drug test. So we really like to emphasize being ready for that. If you don't pass it, it's fine. You come back to the next class when we're ready. But that is a requirement to get out into the field. You got to be 18 years of age or older. Like I mentioned, we do take 17-year-olds who are turning 18 in the near future. Have the ability to obtain your GED or high school diploma by your graduation date. Have a valid Washington State driver's license by your graduation date. If you don't have those when you come to us, we can definitely help you obtain both of those things. Legal to work in the US, able to perform physically demanding work. Like I said, this goes back to the physical nature of the industry. Got to be able to lift a minimum of 40 pounds to participate in tryouts. And I'm going to show you guys a quick video right now to kind of give you a feel for what tryouts would look like. So Yes.
Simone, you mentioned by graduation date, and you're meaning the graduation date of the 11-week
From our program.
with ANEW,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And let's see. So our tryouts are broken down into two parts. The first section, we conduct our drug test, and then we'll set you up with an interview with our support service specialist. So they'll sit down with you and ask you some questions just about where you are in life, you know, whether or not you're renting an apartment or if you have kiddos, things of that nature. And they just want to determine your eligibility for support services, because we want to make sure that we offer you all of the support that we can so you can graduate successfully and get out there and start making a bunch of money. And then let's see, after we do that, you're going to break out into groups and complete the physical stations. They run for 8 minutes each. I mentioned earlier that some of the workouts that we do at those stations would be learning how to carry plywood or rebar on your shoulder, maybe carrying some cinder blocks, pushing a wheelbarrow with sandbags, shoveling gravel, things of that nature. And then we're just going to observe whether or not you've got a positive attitude, whether or not you can follow directions accurately, and whether you're trying your best. We really just want to make sure that you can complete each of the tasks without any major medical concerns. And this quick video is going to give you an idea of what our tryouts look like. I do like to mention that this was recorded pre-pandemic, so you will never be in a room with this many people. We have, you know, implemented all of our social distancing and safety measures, so we are being mindful of everyone's health. I'd just like to mention that, but this will give you a quick idea. Alrighty, so we're just about finishing up here. I'm just going to go over a little bit about what else you'll learn during a pre-apprenticeship with ANEW. Typically, we would go on job site visits, which is really fun. Unfortunately, due to social distancing requirements, we're not able to take 20 people per class onto a site anymore. So what we've been doing is having folks from the different apprenticeship halls and unions come and do weekly presentations for us at our facilities. And so that's really just going to give you the opportunity to encounter different folks who work in different trades that are working together to complete a job on a job site. And that'll give you a chance to, speak with various tradespersons who can answer any questions that you might have about their specific disciplines. Let's see, the apprenticeships that would typically visit us could include the laborers, cement masons, painters, carpenters, sheet metal, plumbers and pipe fitters, operating engineers, and electricians. We do have connections with other types of apprenticeships in the area, and we work with both union and non-union apprenticeships as well. And it'll be up to you as a student to determine which direction you'll go in as it pertains to that. And you'll receive more information on the difference between union and non-union jobs once you get into your training. You'll also be earning some industry certifications that'll help bolster your resume that you would have to pay for out of pocket typically if you weren't going through the program. So this is one of the benefits of participating with ANEW. You're going to earn your OSHA 10 certification, which is like all of the safety standards for construction sites, a flagger certification, as well as how to utilize a forklift. And then, of course, gaining general construction skills, different methods of measuring, using power tools, hand tools. And then, like I mentioned, you'll have access to our support services, which could include, but are not limited to, maybe a gas card or an ORCA card, assistance with buying work boots or other protective equipment. We really just want to support you as much as you can, or as much as we can while you're in the program, so that we can get you out into the field. And let's see here. Skipped one. Sorry about that. So when you graduate from ANEW, what do you have? First, you will have earned a pre-apprenticeship completion certificate. We are a state registered pre-apprenticeship program, and we're the longest running pre-apprenticeship in the nation. You're going to have what's called preferred entry into a paid apprenticeship. So when those pre-apprenticeship halls are visiting us, they're going to let you know whether or not they're accepting applications at the time. And if they are, you would hold job preference for placement over somebody who didn't go through a pre-apprenticeship. You'll have knowledge of all the different construction trades, how the application process for each of the trades works. And finally, I think one of the most important benefits is that during your time in the program, you're meeting folks who are actively hiring straight out of the program. So we do have a ton of contractors and apprenticeships that come visit our classes, and they'll end up hiring students before the 11 weeks is even complete. If that happens, that is fantastic. Otherwise, a lot of the conversations to get students hired is going to happen right before or during graduation. I think at our most recent graduation, out of 25 students, there were about 11 of them who called in from the field on their phones for graduation. So we're moving people in and out really fast. It feels great, and we would love for that to be you. I talked about support services, Apprenticeship Opportunities Project, or AOP. After you graduate, we're not just going to say, peace out, good luck. We're going to work with you for up to 2 years to make sure that you continue to be successful in your apprenticeship. So we provide wraparound services, retention support. Because you work your butt off over those 11 weeks, we really want to make sure that you are able to afford the job that you get. So our department in ANEW called AOP is going to be providing financial assistance to apprentices that are just starting out in their careers. Again, it's going to be based on income eligibility, but we may be able to help you fund things like your union dues. We can help you buy your tools and your study materials for your apprenticeship. Again, a gas card or a bus pass to get you to and from your job site every day. And you'll learn more about setting up an appointment for this when you get into your pre-apprenticeship. And please note that if you move out of the area, that this assistance is offered statewide for all construction apprentices, even if you don't go through a pre-apprenticeship program. Keep that in mind. Yeah, it's a fantastic program. I just like to throw this in there. I want people to know, because we are doing training in person, that as of phase 1, June 1st of 2020, Governor Inslee deemed ANEW an essential workforce development program. So that meant that we were allowed to go back to functioning and training in person and hands-on. We do have new safety protocols in place. We take everyone's temperature before they enter our facilities every single day. Obviously, physical distancing measures. We provide every single student with latex gloves and masks all day long as you need them, hand sanitizer in copious amounts, and then of course thorough sanitization of all of our equipment between uses. Since we opened up in June, we have not had a single health issue in any of our staff or our students. So we're being very diligent, and we hope to keep it that way. So just so you know, we are trying to be very mindful of everyone's health and safety. And your next steps. This may look a little bit different. I'll kind of let Terry walk us through who and what you would need to contact. She's got some documents and some little information flyers of some of our upcoming cohorts that she can share with you. I have also sent her a copy of our enrollment form. So if you're interested, you can reach out to her and she will disseminate that information so that you guys can get it back to me. If for whatever reason you need to download the enrollment form on your own, there is a page on our website that says find an info session, and down here at the bottom with this big yellow arrow, you'll find our enrollment form link. Of course, when you go on the website, there will not be a big yellow arrow, but I just wanted you to see where to look, and hopefully that guides your eyes there. And here's my contact information down at the bottom left hand of the screen. Again, I'm sure that Terry will be sharing this out with you guys as well. But I am all finished. I really appreciate your time, and I believe we might open it up for some question and answer at this point.
Yeah. So, I think that in general, there's just things that the adults and the teachers and parents really can help students with this information. But, I think the question that always comes up is, what can students do during their 4 years in high school to prepare them to go into a program like yours? And what kind of classes, what kinds of experiences will help them be most successful? Sounds like some, like you said, some are actually getting out of the program early because they're getting hired, and it's probably because they're coming in with some skills. So what do you recommend students do to start planning for this if this is an area of their interest?
So we do things during the summer through our DVR program, and it's something called Construction Boot Camp, and we hold those for youth. We have been doing them online in the past year, which has surprisingly been successful. So I can also send you, Terry, some information about that for students to look into. It's on our website as well. But they can sign up for those boot camps. They're typically a week long. And what we've been doing is sending folks these packages that have like wood and tools and, a measuring tape and a hammer. And each day we'll get online live and we'll build things together. So that is an option for students. Again, because you guys are going to be coming freshly out of high school, your math is probably going to be a lot stronger than most of us, because a lot of folks who are coming into our programs have been 10, 15 years since they've done math. So I assume that you guys are going to be on top of it as it pertains to that. And again, we have our instructors who will be there. I have really seen students get creative with the ways in which they want to be involved if they're motivated. I just met someone last month on an info session, and she said, hey, I really wanted to get into the trades. And so, I was walking down the street and I saw that someone had left like a couple of doors on the side of the street. So I got them and I measured them and I painted them and I mounted them in my house, and I think really, taking your own initiative and kind of just starting. She said, I just wanted to learn how to read my tape measure. So I took these doors off the side of the street, and she was like, you can see them in the background when you're on Zoom. And that's kind of one of the things I think that's really valued in the culture of the trades is just taking initiative and having some grit. And so aside from the programs that ANEW offers to help, prepare the youth for these programs, I think a lot of it is really going to be about self-determination and drive. And just kind of this link actually that you can see here on the bottom right hand of the screen. It is on one of the documents that I shared with Terry to send out to you guys. But this is the City of Seattle's apprenticeship guidebook. So even going to that link and taking a look, it maps out every single trade that's available for you to work in. It tells you what your registration requirements for each trade would be. For example, some require a high school diploma, some don't. Some require some certifications, some don't. And so even just going through that and getting a general idea of what you might be interested in and doing a little bit more research, you do not have to come into the program knowing which trade you want to go into. Some folks do, some folks don't. Some folks change their mind halfway through. Some people say, I thought I wanted to be an electrician, but then I started, manipulating sheet metal and it was so exciting to me. Now I want to do that. So yeah, I think just doing a little bit of research, and then again, feel free to always reach out to me if when you're doing your research, if you have any questions about specific trades, things of that nature, I'm always willing to chat with you as well.
You know, we're headed into our registration process for our students for next year, and we have a number of classes in our programs here that allow students to work in shops and work with tools and equipment.
That's great. I was just going to ask if shop was still a thing.
Yeah, we do. We have a welding shop, a construction shop, landscape, greenhouse, small engine.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we will reopen up our manufacturing shop. So there's a lot of tools in there. We offer OSHA 10. So students will leave with their certification. So there's a lot of skills students can start to build in high school. And I really think that this pre-apprenticeship piece is super important for that entry into and that preferred entry. And so I encourage students to do a little bit more research. We'll share information, as Simone said, about their website, about flyers. Make sure you're paying attention to our social media posts, because there are so many free opportunities to learn and so many opportunities to set you up into a career that will sustain you, high demand, high wage job in the future. So Simone, thank you so much for sharing these opportunities with our students and our staff, and that we can support our kids as they look for a career in their future. So we so appreciate your time today.
Thank you guys for having me.